I'm Frank. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install a dash cam in your Aston Martin DB9. Now I've selected the Garmin Mini 2 dash cam. I selected it because it's a small size, it's one of the smallest dash cams available, and I want to keep the windshield as clutter-free as possible. Garmin has a very good reputation. They make good quality products. So the combination of a small dash cam with the Garmin quality is why I selected the Mini 2. Now the Mini 2 has 1080p resolution. There are dash cams out there now that have 4K resolution, but really I don't think I can tell a big difference between 4K and 1080p 95% of the time. If I'm on a really big screen or something like that, or blowing things up really large, then yeah, maybe you can tell a little bit of a difference. But I think for dash cam, the difference between 1080p and 4K is not a deal breaker at all. I would much rather have the smaller size. So I'll show you what all we need in order to make this a good install. So we have the Garmin unit itself, and everybody that I've seen that has installed any Garmin's has always recommended the polarizing filter, so I have that as well. And then I have some fuse taps that I'll show you how to properly put those in. And then we'll be ready to get rolling. You should also have a little plastic trim tool so that you can tuck the cords up in the headliner. And don't forget an SD card. I got an ADATA 512 gigabyte card. It's a micro SD, and you want it to be the SDXC that will take the higher resolution video. Now when we install the polarizing filter, if you can see, I don't know if you can see this, when you get yours you'll be able to see it, but there's a line. It's etched into the plastic. This should go up. So my line is here, and this is the direction that the polarizing filter should go. So basically I press the filter onto the lens, and the instructions say do not rotate this while it's on. So if you end up messing up and putting the line somewhere else, then just pull it off and put it back on again. There's a protective layer on top of here. I'm going to leave it on till the last minute, but that way I can press without worrying about getting finger smudges all on the polarizing filter. We're ready to head to the car. In getting a lay of the land here, I'm on the passenger side of my DB9. I'm going to install the dash cam right up in here. It's going to go as close here as possible, and then I'm going to tuck the wires underneath the headliner here, down the column, and then in the floor underneath this mat is where there is the in-cabin fuse box. So we'll be taking that off to get to the fuse box, and then the wire will run down the column and then over there. I'm going to start routing my cables. Now I have plenty of extra cable. This comes with a lot. It can probably take me just about anywhere in the car. But always make sure that you have enough before you start getting too far into the installation. So I'm going to take my plastic trim tool. I'm just going to start running my cable here, then down the column. This upper trim tab is held in by some fir trees. I pulled it down a little bit. I'm going to have to knock it back in. And what I'm doing is I'm going to take this USB connector, I'm going to put it in here and try to run it then now along the outside so I can get to it here and then bring it down and snake it in that way. I've put the USB port in there, and I'm going to come around here to the other side and I can pull this down, and you can see right up in there, there it is, there's where the USB is, and I just need to pull that through there and then down this column. Okay, so now I have it down through that side. I'm just going to run down here, bring it underneath there. So now I have it, it's run down this column, and then now to here. Here I'm going to run it in between here to get down to the underneath side where the fuse box is. And I'll do the same thing. I'll just use my trim tool to push it in to go to get all the way down. As I'm doing this, it bears saying, get yourself a plastic trim tool. You can get it at any automotive shop or Amazon or any place like that. Don't use a screwdriver. A screwdriver is sharp, and it will scratch up your leather, potentially even causing tears in it. So get a plastic trim tool and get your wires in that way. So now I have the wire in. You can't see any of it. It's coming out right here underneath. See if I can get a shot of that. Which I'm going to now swing back inside. Now's going to be the time for me to take the cover off to get to the fuses. Now down in here there's a little well, and it is worthwhile putting something like a microfiber towel down there, so in case you drop a screw, you don't have to go get a magnet or fish for it or find a replacement screw. So I have my microfiber towel down there. I'm using the fuzzy end rather than the smooth end because I think it'll hold things better if in case I drop something. I also have my trusty pool strainer basket. That's what I put all my screws in so that I don't have them laying all over the place and have to hunt for them. This is a T27 Torx. And here's my fuse panel. So now we need to find a fuse that is wired to the ignition. And there are a couple of different diagrams that I've seen for a DB9, and so I'm just going to test them out. I'll show you how to do that. All right, I've got my volt ohm meter, and it's set to DC volts. And I'm going to have one prong I'm going to connect to a ground, which is just going to be the metal here on the fuse box. Try to work this so it stays in place for me. Now, I have the ground set. The ignition is out of the car. It's not in. Now, if you'll notice on the fuses, there's a little metal tab right here. That's so that you can test things. Now, as I come to this one and look at my meter, I've got 12 volts. So this is live all the time. Let me come over to this one. And that one is not. So these two here are not live. Now I'm going to put the key in the ignition, turn it on, and see if I get power there. And now with these two,
I've got power, and I've got power. So these two are switched to the ignition. The dash cam is going to take very, very little power, so I'm going to use one of these. Now, I pulled the 10 amp fuse from here, and one side of this is going to be power, and the other side is going to be to the device. So you need to know which one is power and which one goes to the device, because that's going to be the flow of current. So my ignition switch is on, and when I put it to that side, I've got my 12 volts. When I put it to the other side, I have no volts. So this is where the battery side is. Because of the direction that I need to go, I need to go this direction. So there's nothing here, so I don't want this to obstruct. If I put this here, it's going to obstruct this fuse, and if I needed to test anything, then I'd have to remove all of this to get to it. So I'm going to use this one over here to connect to. All right, here's my tap. My 10 amp fuse goes into the one closest, and then I'm going to have a 5 amp fuse that I put in. You can see it's like close to where this where the wire comes out. So this 5 amp will be to my Garmin, and the 10 amp will be back to the device in the car. So let's put this into place and test it. All right, so I have my tap in. I have it connected with my voltmeter, and I've got 12 volts. Now I'm going to turn the ignition off. And now I'm back to 0 volts. So my tap is good. Now we're ready to do the rest of the wiring. Now USB connections are typically 5 volts. So I don't want to just simply cut this and wire it in, because I'll have too much voltage. So what I have is a power adapter. This happens to be a marine power adapter. It's 12 volt going to USB connectors. So I'll attach this to my tap, and then plug the Garmin into this. I'm going to put the adapter up here, and right through there I've run the red wire. I'll probably just take one of these bolts, probably this one, loosen it, and attach the black one to it for a ground. It sort of seems the simplest way to do it right now. So here's my USB port. I like using connectors, so I put connectors on these. And now I'm going to take the that nut off right there, put my ground underneath there, and put it back on. Before I button it up and finish, I'm going to test it. So we're going to plug in the USB cable and turn the ignition on and see if the Garmin comes on. I haven't attached the Garmin yet, because I wanted to make sure everything else was done before I actually put it in. But I have the everything now connected. Ignition is off. Let's put the ignition on. And we got a green light. So our Garmin is powered. I know that's working, so now we're going to finish everything up. Ignition is off, and the Garmin just shut off. So my Garmin is connected to the ignition, so now if I'm letting the car sit for a long time, the camera isn't on. I'm going to come back down here and finish this up. This extra cable, I'm going to wrap up and tie wrap. The adapter here, I have some double stick that's on the bottom of it. I'm just going to put it right up in there. There's plenty of room. So I'll do that and come back to the camera and then attach it to the windshield. We're back together here, and right up in here is where I have mounted the adapter, excess cord tied up. The carpet goes back. And we just have to finish up here. I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol and I'm going to clean the windshield right there really well and dry it. All right, my windshield is now squeaky clean. And I want to make sure that I can reach the button down here. The button down is what turns on and off the microphone. So I want to be able to reach it, and I can. Up in here is where the SD card is, in case I ever need to remove it, but I can unplug this and unsnap it from here to get to it if I need to. So I'm not too concerned about that, as I am the being able to turn on and off the microphone. So I pretty much know that my position is going to be right up here because that's going to be the most out of the way. I'm going to go right where, if you can see where the this portion is, I'm going to try to bring it right up in there. And there is my my mounting. So this is looking at it from the passenger side. You can see the wire is tucked up in there nicely. Here you can see it looking at it from over from the driver's side. When I'm sitting in the car, this is eye level, so I don't see it at all. If I scoop down, now I can see where it is. And I'm going to remove the final layer there. We've got a dash cam. And this is what it looks like. I took a little drive, recorded some video, and you can see the quality that the Garmin gives. I'm pretty happy with it. So there's the Garmin Dashcam installation. It went very easy, no snags. I think anybody really can do it. Just pay attention to the fuse taps if you're using fuse taps, so that you make sure that the current flows across the fuse and not just directly to the unit. And everything went well. You can see the video of what the Dashcam looks like in operation, and there are other reviews on the Garmin Mini 2 that you can check out, but I'm pretty happy with it. I can't see it at all from the driver's seat, which I like, and it's small and unobtrusive. So happy motoring!